Hey, it's Bri, and we've just added a second show on July 15th at the Gramercy due to popular demand. And by we, I mean Q. For some reason, he wants to really do a second show. So if you're going to let him down, if you don't give a fuck about Q, then don't come. But if you do, and you happen to be at the first show and the second show, there is going to be an exclusive photo op, which includes Walt Flanagan, the rarely cited Walt Flanagan, at the end, and we'll sign shit and whatever else. Also, whether you're going to the first show or the second show, write your email address down on a little slip of paper. There's going to be a box for you to put it in, and there's going to be a giveaway, so make sure you do that. Right, Sage?
Yes.
All right, you heard it from the source. Gramercy, July 15th, 10 o'clock. Be there.
Hey, Walter here. We need to take a quick break and kind of get serious for a second. We don't often do it, but here's a topic that concerns all of us. Home burglaries. Every 13 seconds they happen. Most happen in broad daylight with a burglar ringing your doorbell to make sure you're away before he breaks in. But Ring Video Doorbell has been proven to stop burglaries before they happen by allowing you to see and speak to anyone approaching your door by using your smartphone. Now Ring is using their advanced motion detection technology to protect your entire property with the Ring Security Kit. The kit includes a Ring Video Doorbell for the front door and a Ring Stick-Up Cam, the wireless weatherproof HD camera to keep an eye on other parts of your property. Ring Video Doorbell and Stick-Up Cam both install in minutes, and working together, they can provide 24/7 monitoring of your entire home, whether you're in the living room or thousands of miles away. Now, think about it. Let's say you have a kid. You're at work. She gets home from school, or he gets home from school, and they're at home, and someone rings the doorbell. You don't want them answering the doorbell. Now you can answer it on your phone while at work, and everybody will assume there's somebody in your house, an adult in your house, 24/7 with this device. And for a limited time, Tell them Steve Dave listeners get $50 off the Ring of Security Kit. That's right, $50. It's the lowest price anywhere. Just please go to ring.com/TESD. Join the hundreds of thousands who protect their home with Ring. That's right. Go to ring.com/TESD for $50 off. That's ring.com/TESD. And protect your loved ones. Protect your valuables. I do it. Bri does it. Q does it. Gidim doesn't do it, but he will. He will as soon as he gets his first check at the stash. All right, back to the show.
Smart Co. presents Pelham Steve Dave Overkill with encounters of the 6th, 7th, and 8th kind with Brian Quinn, Walter Flanagan, and Brian Johnson. This week's episode.
I'll fly when I'm dead.
Welcome to this week's Overkill. Yeah, we have to do it ourselves now. Declan's not going to be working on it for the next couple weeks, so any sound effect.
Well, that's cool. Well, it's not Baron von Flanagan, so we don't really need sound effects.
That's true.
And cute. And damn, that was a great. I don't know, what was that? What was that supposed to be? That was thunder. Okay. Like the human beatbox. Move over.
What was that name of the guy?
Michael Winslow. Like, fuck off, Winslow. There's a new kid in town.
That's a robot.
Before we get into Overkill, though, I wanted to talk about work etiquette.
Oh boy, is that why Get Him's here?
Yeah, he can only stay again. He's got dinner date again. I mean,
the same person?
The missus has got him fucking wrapped around her finger. But
this is a miss? I thought you said this was some dude you eat dinner with.
It's a girl.
It's a girl?
Yeah.
Oh, you get any?
Well, when she's hungry and she's tied up in a basement, I mean, it's actually kind of nice of him.
Fighting rats with surf taco leftovers that he throws down the stairs.
Full price, bitch. Eat it all.
Yeah, get him also. Yeah, for listeners who don't know what that joke means, get him complaining every day that he doesn't get a discount at Surf Taco.
Even though I walk in and they know my order already.
But nobody from Secret Stash should get a discount there. If they do give it, it's just out of the kindness of their heart. You shouldn't expect it.
Well, one girl told me I do get one because I'm an employee here.
Well, why? Why should they give anybody a break because they work in town?
Yeah, you want to get free shit? Just
no, I'm not free. It's like 10% off.
And you know what the great irony is that I don't work here. Every time I go over, I get it. But you have to foster a relationship. You can't show up one day and just be like, hey, I'm next door. Money off.
No,
like,
I didn't.
I've known that girl
do...
for 2 years now.
But like I said, I walked in today. As soon as I walked up, they're like, okay, chicken taco and milk cheese. And I was like, yeah. So they know my order.
Right. I don't know if that necessarily translates to let's give him money off.
But one of them said, oh, you work at the stash. And I was like,
One
yeah.
of them did. This person you went to doesn't know you work here.
Do you agree that may sound a little entitled? Okay.
A little?
Okay, well, if that sounds a little, wait till you fucking get a load of this.
Oh.
Q, when you started working at the firehouse,
Yeah.
if the chief, it's the fire chief, is that what he's
Sure.
called, the head
There's
man?
several chiefs, but yeah.
He was like, hey, buddy, I see you're good with the music and the computer.
Right.
Can you hook up my computer so I could play some music at the firehouse at the what's it called?
Yeah, I would do it.
Okay. And while you were doing it, would you? And this is his own personal library. Would you infect his library with your own bullshit music without asking?
Of course not. That's very absurd.
Are you meaning to tell me after you built a playlist with fucking 100 fucking versions of Uncle Salty, this guy has the audacity to come in and be like, all right, now I'm going to put some of my tunes in there.
Yes. I fucking walk in, I see recently added, I see some nonsense, and I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Now, did the nonsense come from your library or?
No, it's not. It's his own. It's something that he put on of his own music. He's putting into my library. I don't know how he got it on, but like, it's so fucking.
He set up family sharing.
It's really ballsy, isn't it?
That's ballsy.
I told him, I wasn't fucking around. I go, why the fuck wouldn't you at least ask first?
That's the perfect question. Like, and I mean, answer it.
But, no,
Can I answer for him? Can I answer for you? Honestly, in the defense of him, you are
trial by fire.
Yeah.
Ants. It's on. We didn't know what was happening tonight, but Q, you're the defense lawyer.
I am.
You're going to defend this fuck.
Good on
this
you.
cocksucker.
I am.
You're going to defend him.
You're tainting the jury.
Because you have hired, listen, good for you, and I hope you get a tax break, but you've hired. You've hired a special needs person. The guy has Asperger's, and that is all about social norms. You can't bask in the glory of hiring a special needs person,
a subhuman.
And then when the exact what's the word I'm looking for?
When the
symptom of what they have is a lack of social abilities. Like, he's doing what he does, you know? In fact, I'd say it's your job to guide him in a kind and loving way.
Well, does it have to be kind and loving? Because I'm guiding. I am guiding. But I don't know if some may call it kind and loving.
Well, no, here's what I did.
Yeah, okay.
There's the stash mix. Walt made the playlist.
No. We don't care about that. Stop referring to a week's worth of music if you listen to it from beginning to end.
And that's your
and
library.
You just infected it.
No, I did.
With a
virus
that's called shit music that I don't want on there.
What I did was I created a separate playlist.
No, it's not a separate playlist.
It was a separate playlist. It's called Get 'em Jams.
But it's called on the recently added
Get 'em Jams.
But no.
What's on Get 'em Jams?
What I did was I first went through Walt's library, got stuff like the Tron soundtrack. He has 8 CDs worth of theme songs.
A playlist off of what I have already.
Okay, but what did you add?
I added a couple cartoon theme songs.
Like what?
Bionic 6, DuckTales.
Right. So far, I'm on his side.
Just like maybe 10 or 15.
You know what? And
And-
here's where I'm guiding him now.
Okay.
All that takes
Take
is
that shit off.
a simple text. Hey, boss, I'm thinking about adding a couple of songs that you don't already have in your massive, awesome library.
Right.
I
agree.
You thinking this would be okay? I'd be like, cool, bro, whatever you want to do.
Right.
But then, don't shock me and fucking blindside me when I walk in on Monday and I go to put on my music and I see sitting in my face like insulting me, basically.
But it wasn't. It was.
In front
It's
of
only.
Mike.
It's only on that
Mike-
one little playlist.
Yeah, how much can Mike respect you now? Like next thing you know, Mike's making playlists.
And Sunday Jeff had added music on Sunday.
Music which I asked him to add.
Oh, okay.
Music that I
Fair
had
point.
music that we had a conversation about, and it's like, hey man, you happen to have this CD? I do. Could you be a good friend and add that to my library? Absolutely.
Well, you didn't have.
And
He had
then
him
you
on.
go
He had him
in
on a flash
with
drive.
absolutely no fucking permission, with absolutely no reason to be involved, even touching that fucking music.
Yeah. Can you be a good friend and a respectable employee and add this to my music?
Can't stop directing traffic, bro. You just can't stop.
That's an example of doing karate while directing traffic. It's the same exact thing, but just a different way of doing it, though. Don't you get it?
I do get it, but I thought I was okay segregating it to that one playlist.
But don't you understand? It's it's a recently added album. When I go to my recently added, when I want to go check out what Jeff added to it, it's there before what Jeff added.
Because it added on to another unknown album.
Okay.
And you're like, Jeff would never do this. I got to get to the bottom of it.
No, actually, I was like, why the fuck would Jeff do this? Because I couldn't believe a guy who fucking barely just started working here would have
Right.
the fucking.
That was the last thought
Yes.
of mine.
Yeah, but then you reward him by giving him a key to the store. You're not doing. You're doing negative reinforcement.
Or you're rewarding yourself by giving him a key to the store.
Yes, because now on Saturday I can come in. He can listen to his Get 'em jams until I get here at 11:30.
I thought by being employee of the month, I was.
Well, you know what? For every step you take towards achieving Employee of the Month, you take 2 steps back with shit like this.
What's your special parking place as far away from that dumpster as possible?
But everyone's free.
All right, so you're siding on it's not a faux pas like I thought it was.
I understand your annoyance and you're entitled to it, but I do think that given what we know about the way Giddim's mind work, it's not a surprise. So I wouldn't get upset.
No, I wasn't upset. I was annoyed.
It's like if he hired me and I showed up late consistently.
all.
Yeah, or maybe not at all. Yeah, it's like, well, what'd you think you were going to get?
Right.
Really? But that right there is carte blanche for him to just do whatever the fuck he
No,
wants.
he has to learn from his behavior. He's an
Right.
intelligent guy. He can't fucking just say he doesn't know what he's doing all the time.
So he knows now
right.
not to add any more playlists without being like, excuse me, boss. Any chance I could put on a few of my musical tunes?
I gotta make water, boss.
You don't have to ask me every time.
Oh, I didn't think so, but now I does.
That's pretty harsh. Certainly,
Did you learn from this, Giddim?
Yes.
What did you learn?
I learned to ask Walt permission before I had anything.
But it
Or I'll be
shouldn't
publicly
just be
shamed.
about the music, though. It shouldn't just be about the music. It should be anything that falls under this umbrella.
yeah, like
Because I set up this computer and I customized it for the store, so
Is he boasting a bit?
He's really like adding on the butter and the fucking whatever else you put on.
The jelly?
Yeah, on this one. He fucking plugged some fucking cords into a fucking computer.
Yeah.
And he keeps talking like he fucking
He's like-
built it, like it was fucking Bill Gates's
It's now on his resume.
illegitimate
Like,
fuck up son.
it's now on his resume, like, get him IT advisor.
the stash.
Legitimate fuck up son.
Daddy, can I come out of the basement and make a playlist? No, stay down there, get him.
Oh man, fucking Mark's death is still still like
Reverberating.
thank you, get it reverberating. Oh man,
But like these things never came up with anybody until you started working here.
You know what? I mean, look, I'm not defending him, but Gidim has a well-known case of ADD. And
He does?
Yes.
ADD, you have to?
ADHD, yeah.
What is it called?
ADHD.
He has ADHD.
It's like even a higher dosage than normal?
No,
it's attention deficit and hyperactivity disorder.
On top of the
autism.
It was like high def ADD or something.
It's the next level up of ADD. Yeah, like I don't have the hyperactivity clearly, but he does. He's like a step above where, like that kind of shit. Like the thought occurs to him to do it, and that's it. It doesn't occur to him like, oh, I should ask Walt or maybe even Mike.
Well, and also to be fair, everybody else usually streams to the wireless network over their phones. I don't have.
I never get my turn.
No. I don't have a phone I can do that with. It doesn't.
It took Mike years to get some of his own selected music on the phone.
In all fairness, it took you years to figure out a playlist.
You don't have an iPod that you could.
I have an iPhone, but there's not enough space on it to download music.
You know what? I have an extra iPod.
Oh, okay.
If I give that to you, would you be able to plug that in?
It would have to be plugged in with a wire, though. An iPod is not.
Yeah,
wireless.
that's
No, an iPod can do AirPlay.
No. An old physical
this
iPod.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Could you plug it in?
I tried to plug in mine; it didn't work. This new system that's going on for the AirPlay, it would only recognize like certain songs on my iPod, so something's not right.
Well, I'll bring it anyway. If you could use it, put your own list on there and do it that way.
Okay.
What's on your iPod that's taking up or your iPhone that's taking up
Probably
some
a
room?
fucking 5 megabyte one, but
No, it's 16, but it's a lot of photos and apps.
Why don't you just upload them to
cloud?
Because since it's not my phone, it was from the Lost and Found. I can't hook it up to an iCloud.
Why not?
Because it's still registered to the other
the rightful owner.
Just blank it.
Then I lose everything that's on it. I don't have it synced to a computer yet.
Why don't you sync it to this fucking supercomputer fucking Hal you just fucking built?
I'm afraid to.
Yeah, I don't want his photos on that computer.
You don't have a computer at home?
Yeah.
Who knows?
I do. It doesn't have the biggest hard drive.
He should not be taking up any of the space on that computer.
I agree.
Yeah, that's the next step. He'll be taking up space on your computer.
I'm just gonna store this here. You have plenty of space.
What about an iPad?
Next thing you know, the fucking SWAT team is knocking your door down.
I might have an extra iPad that you could use. I'll look into it.
He needs one.
Yeah, I'm going to get you one. I think I
an
have
iPad.
one. I have
for
one.
work purposes. It's crazy. The hoops that I like.
Yeah.
The thing I can't do that because
all right, it's an iPad
I have a
mini.
camera from 1949 that needs to be charged, and like the constant
It's a camera
excuses.
that needs batteries.
I got
They don't make the charger anymore.
Yes, yes, and I don't have a wire because
No,
I found it.
The camera has what's called an Wi-Fi card. When you take a photo, it streams it over the Wi-Fi into the computer automatically.
Will an iPad mini solve these problems?
It would be very helpful. Although you know what, with him though,
Yeah.
he creates his own problems because it's not the way he does it. It's not the way I want to do it, so it's a problem. I want to do it with my camera that fucking Bill Kodak created. You know that
It was discovered at an archaeological dig at the Collingswood auction.
For me, versus typing on an iPad, it's easier
Oh
to
yes,
type
and
on the keyboard.
and also an iPad means he might have a recurrence of carpal tunnel syndrome.
Oh my God.
Well, it's an
That's what he's
iPad
told.
mini,
These are
bro.
things that you're dealing with, like on day one, where I'm like, oh boy.
Well, stop typing so much on fucking Reddit and it'll fucking go away.
I listed all those
You did.
because I said it's easier for me to type it on a computer.
Okay.
But it's until I feel comfortable, I check with you for the auctions. And
But not for my music, though.
Hacking into Walt's playlists.
All right. I'll bring it next week.
Okay.
I don't.
We'll
Yeah,
see
I don't
if
know.
this
I don't
helps.
know if it will be all that helpful, but I'm sure
try.
he'd be a nice. He would appreciate it, though.
All right.
Thank you.
I'll work on it.
You have a Overkill. You have to get going, but you have an Overkill topic you were telling me
Yes,
about that
yes,
I love.
do. Okay.
This is the
guys
most
gotta hear
shocking
this.
thing that Gidim has a standing dinner date every night.
Are you paying
Because
for
we
it?
just recorded yesterday.
You pay. That's why he's a fucking standing dinner date every night.
Oh, really?
She's like, yeah, of course I'm going to get a free dinner. Why are you paying?
What? I bring the food.
He's a gentleman.
Yeah.
Or asshole. One of the two.
That only goes so far, though.
He's like, don't I know it?
Okay, now, is anyone here aware of the Mandela effect?
No.
I've not heard of the Mandela effect.
This is spooky shit. This is perfect for Overkill. And when he was telling me about this, I was on the edge of my seat, as you guys will be.
Now,
Let's give him a couple, Q.
Oh! Window was open.
It sounds like a bad, like fucking, like Star Wars gun.
Now,
Or a bee in the room.
now, what some people suggest is the Mandela effect is indicative of a rift in the time stream, and that there's many parallel time streams.
I already know why Walt likes it. Go ahead.
So it's named after Nelson Mandela.
No. So not his brother Henry Mandela.
Did you guys, when you guys heard Mandela effect, did you automatically think of Nelson
No,
Mandela?
I didn't. I did not.
See that? So cute.
Now,
Learning.
do you all remember when Nelson Mandela died?
Vaguely, yeah.
Well, when was that?
I don't know. That's
What decade,
geez. This decade.
Brian?
I would have thought the 2000s.
Well,
Like 2000 to 2010.
I would have thought the 90s.
Okay. Well, actually, he died in 2013.
Okay, yeah.
There you
But
go.
the
Only 3 years ago.
Yeah, I remember it being not too long ago.
But the problem is that many people believed it happened in the 80s or early 90s.
Is that because you went to jail and that's what they assume?
That's what some people say, but some people say in a parallel universe, he did die in those days, in the things. And it's a leak through
It's bleeding through.
It bleeds through and it infects our minds.
He's got many examples of this bleed through.
Oh, all right, go ahead.
Okay. Now,
So you're just going to ask us when famous people died?
No, it's not
Oh,
about
okay.
famous people too. It's about all sorts of things of memories that people have. That it's not just one person remembers it. It's a huge portion of the population are conflicted because one side says, "Oh, this is how it was."
Like the
And
collective consciousness either goes one way or the other.
yeah, which doesn't happen on a lot of things. Usually, it's black and white.
Right.
Not on with the Mandela effect.
Now, although Q didn't know he was talking about Nelson Mandela, which is very strange, he did peg very close the date of his death.
Well, I do remember the funeral being a big deal, and they made a movie about him with Don Cheadle, right, as him.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember these things being around that time.
now, who remembers? Everyone remember Tiananmen Square?
Yep.
The Chinese.
Do you remember the gentleman being run over by the tank?
The Chank? Well, there's a fucking Freudian slip if I ever heard one.
The Chinese tank.
It's called Chink, you racist fuck.
They drive Chanks in China.
Does anyone remember the young man being run over by the tank?
I remember the story of it.
I don't think he got run over.
Didn't that how the violence started?
No. He did not get run over.
No.
At least in our time stream.
Well, I'm not going to attribute that to Mandela effect. I'm going to attribute it to me not caring about what happens in China.
But no, many people remember him being run over.
Oh, I don't specifically remember. I remember there was violence and students got shot and stuff like that.
It was pretty much a peaceful protest. That one gentleman stood in front of the tanks and stopped them.
Nobody got shot?
Not that
we know
not
of.
in this time stream.
Wow. You might be onto something.
Okay. Now let's go back to your childhood. Do you remember the?
He's awesome. You should be giving carte blanche on playlist.
Whose childhood? You looked at Q when you said that. Is this Q's childhood or all
Or
of
it
ours?
could be any of our childhood.
You know why? Because he has this. You know how like normally on Overkill I just shoot down everything.
Right.
He's got a spell on me that I'm
Yeah.
I'm walking down the
I
path with
noticed
him.
like you give a lot more pff and eye rolls when I say shit,
Yeah.
and when Gidim says it, you're looking at him like
I'm like, wait, there might be something to this.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, he's got an effect on me. I don't know what it is.
Now, do you remember the Berenstain Bears?
The Berenstain Bears. Yeah, the Berenstain Bears. Mama Bear and Papa Bear.
I remember it as Bernstein Bears.
That's how I remember it too, Bernstein.
Oh, it was always the Berenstain Bears to me.
See?
You wanted to make it sound even more
Holy
Jewish
shit!
than
There's
Staten
right here,
Island.
just right now. There's a
Ripple in the
ripple
time
right
stream.
there. You remember it a different way than me and Brian do.
Right.
But you remember the characters was such an important part of your childhood.
Well, I don't know about that, but I remember the bear. I remember the
And young
mama-
adulthood.
The Berenstein sounds so foreign to me. It's Bernstein.
Yeah, that's how I always heard it.
Berenstain. It was always Berenstain Bears.
Oh, you're not even saying Steen.
No,
you're saying
Berenstain
Stein?
Bears.
Fine.
Yeah, like Frankenstein. Berenstain.
So again, what the fuck? What?
Again,
It's
this
an- well,
this
it's
could
proof
be
positive
possible
that-
proof of the ripples in the time stream.
Us three, super close.
Mm-hmm.
Yet we both have different memories of something that we shouldn't all remember the same.
Yeah, since we talk about it so much. How about that last episode of the Bernstein Bears? It's Bernstein, you fucking idiot.
Like Frankenstein, you dope.
Let's go.
Victor von Bernstein.
All right, let's go something like more pop culture-ish. Do you remember end of Star Wars?
The end of Star Wars.
End of the, yeah.
No, Empire.
Is it Empire?
Yeah.
Still Star Wars movie.
One of the 8 Star Wars movies.
Vader's standing over Luke, and he says, "Luke, I am your father." Do you remember that?
I don't. I don't think it was that. Was it that line? I don't think that's the right line, right?
What's the line?
The line is, "No, I am your father." But many people remember
Luke, I am
your father.
That's a.
And that is the way they swear to this day that was the way it was said when they saw the movie. But now, when you go back, because of the reverberations, it's, no, I'm your
There's some
father.
people who will swear in a Bible that there's a conspiracy that the movie was altered.
I mean, that's kind of easy to believe the way Lucas treats these movies.
How do you remember it, Q? Now, you must have seen Empire a million times.
I always remember it as search your feelings, you know it to be true.
No, that's the line after that.
Right.
But what's the line before that, though?
Yeah, I think I always remember this. I don't know about Luke, but I always remember it like I am your father.
Well, it is I am your father. But is it Luke, I am your father, or no, I am your father?
Oh, I see. I didn't follow that. Maybe Luke. Yeah, I think Luke.
All right. So another instance of the Mandela effect in this room.
Thunderclaps.
This is fucking crazy.
Well, it brings up an interesting thing because, like, if those are the differences between universes and timelines, I mean, there's got to be infinite timelines then.
That's the theory.
Do you got one more?
But because these time streams are so close to each other with only minor differences, it's easier for these rifts to
bleed
versus a very large one, because in one, someone might not exist, so they can't bleed through to the other one because then that person wouldn't be there.
Right.
That's fairly common, though, people misremembering movie lines.
Yeah, I think so. Like, I think this is the start of a beautiful friendship, and it's actually like, I think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship and stuff like that.
Now, the last one.
Before I go pay for some brunch dinner.
Do you know her as Barbara Streisand or Barbara Streisand?
Barbara Streisand.
Barbara.
Okay. I remember fondly as a child as Barbara Streisand with an A. 2 A's.
Mm-hmm.
That's a weak one, though.
Yeah, you should have.
Wait, you should have let off with that one.
You should have ended with Luke.
Okay.
What about Hitler's eyes? You were telling me about Hitler's eyes.
There's another one that many people fondly remember Hitler's having blue eyes.
Fondly?
Oh, that's Hitler.
Dreamy blue eyes on
Vividly remember Hitler's having...
Every fucking picture's black and white, isn't it?
No, there's lots of color pictures.
Of Hitler?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some, like when he's posing by that...
He's got the little German Shepherd with him and everything, yeah.
Yeah, and when he's posing in front of the Eiffel Tower.
Really? I would think there's not much footage of him in color, though, right?
Paintings.
Yes.
What color is his eyes?
Blue.
Blue. And
In this photo.
what do people remember?
I believe it's people remember it being brown eyes.
And what did he have?
I believe it's... now I'm getting...
Well, wasn't that the whole thing? It's like, how can you promote this Aryan race with blonde hair and blue eyes when you have brown hair and brown eyes? Like, I remember hearing that a lot.
But I don't recall this ever being like something that a lot of people would be on the fence about.
I mean, I
eyes.
fucking hate to give it to get him, but the guy's got pretty fucking blue eyes. Like, they're pretty fucking nice, actually.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, give it to him in what way, though?
You know what? I do remember them fondly.
That's what I mean. Yeah. Like, homeboy did have pretty blue eyes. Shit.
But could you say without...
I was just assuming
like
they
you
were
could
brown.
be so cocksure like Hitler had a certain color of eyes?
I just assumed brown because his hair was dark.
Yeah, I don't think that one is not as hotly debated.
It's better than Barbara.
Well, at least it's Hitler related.
All right, well, thank you, get him.
Yeah, like an overkill and a for your information.
Yeah, nice.
You don't want to hear. You might want to stay. Just stay for this one though.
Okay.
Because I have.
This could affect you, I hear.
Well, for the first time. And what I love of
Get him, you're fired.
what I love.
You gotta give the keys back.
What I love is that a lot of aunts they send me anything that's Hitler related news, any kind of news that it's like I'm bombarded with it. But now they're also starting to send me time travel evidence.
Okay, cool.
Because they know I keep that up. I love that I keep getting time travel.
You can slow down on the Hitler shit.
Yeah, the Hitler stuff.
The FBI starting to notice.
I'm up to my blue eyes with Hitler.
But you know how in the past, Q, that I've pointed to some movies to show proof of things caught in the background.
Yes.
That may be proof of time travel.
The camera, the phone, back with
And
Harry
Charlie
Houdini.
Chaplin.
Oh, that's right, Charlie Chaplin.
And one Calvary movie, he's writing on his iPhone in the stagecoach.
Yes, yeah, Peter Fonda. What if I was to say that there's proof of one of the members of Tell 'em Steve Dave coming into contact with a time traveler, and it was caught on film?
Wow.
Well, I know it's not me or Q, right?
Well, how do you know it wasn't you?
Oh, I thought you meant that the person actually addressed one of us and said, "Hey, I'm a time traveler." I feel like it would probably be you.
It's not me.
No?
No.
Then it's Q.
And I'm going to say right here, proof positive that you were oblivious. It's Q.
Oh, really?
It's Q. Either Q was oblivious
I guess I was oblivious.
to the fact that
There is precedent for it.
that you were in the presence of a time traveler,
Right.
or you have just been using this kind of scoffing at everything as a way to try
cover.
to lead people away from it. But it's over because I had an aunt find this footage of you in a movie,
Really?
and there's a time traveler that comes up to you in it.
I mean, I have a theory that James Murray is a robot from the future sent to kill me, but
Were you in this movie?
Dogma, yes.
You were in this movie?
Yeah, I'm in the background with Nick Giovanetti.
Oh, you know the person in the background?
The guy I'm talking to? That's Nick.
No, it's
No, that's the right scene. They just haven't started talking. Well, I want you to take a look at a clip of Affleck. He's looking a little,
Haggard?
not haggard, but I don't know. You
I'm
tell
better
me.
looking than him is what you're saying?
Well, yeah, I've thought that for years.
You think
there a
he's
question?
looking? Well, he's getting older, just like everybody else. I mean,
Yeah.
he's
Plus,
not-
he has the Jennifer Garner problems. Everyone's always on his
Right.
ass and shit, you know?
You think those are real problems? Or you think that's just manufactured by to sell newspapers?
No, I don't think he would want to.
conspiracy.
He doesn't strike me as the kind of guy who's like,
No.
I need more attention.
No, not by him, but just by a newspaper manufacturer to sell more papers.
Oh, no, I don't think so.
I can't believe what is going on here. Was it scrubbed? Just like Luke, I am your father, because now I don't see the
Well, Q's not in it yet. We're still
is that
watching.
it? Oh,
No.
okay.
Yeah.
This is like a 10-minute clip, and we're at minute 9, and he's still fucking not in there.
That's set dressing. We shot this in Pittsburgh. Well, that's Bill Woods reading a book.
Hanging out against the wall.
Right. And that's me and Nick Giovanetti.
What does this guy Nick do?
He's doing, the ant salute?
Yes.
Well, he's doing the movie horns thing.
Where's he doing?
Kevin gave him that specific direction.
Wow, you fucking shit on that pretty quick.
Yeah.
We're gonna play this up for a big fucking.
All right, let's cut it. Oh, yeah, he's doing the ant salute.
Or did he convince Kevin that that's
No,
what it was?
we're going to jump tracks. We're going to say I'm shocked by this.
Oh, fuck it. I didn't even know who that was. I thought that maybe that was a stranger. I was really hoping you didn't know who that fucking
No,
guy
that's
was.
Nick. Kevin actually gave me the doll and told me to shake it, and he goes to Nick and he goes, do this.
Oh.
So-
some sharp-eyed viewer
Still
was
pretty
watching
good.
Dogma and saw this person give you the ant salute, and they thought maybe that it was a Tell 'em Steve Dave time travel. A fan of Tell 'em Steve Dave time traveled to see young Q
Right.
and give you the salute.
Get him. Can you tell us the Barbara story again?
I was so enthralled.
All right, yeah,
All right. Well, it was good. It was still a good sharp eye. You know?
whatever.
You were right, though. He immediately shit on your...
I have the answer. What do you want me to
And get him, it's like, it's Bernstein.
You glow, get him. Tell me more stories.
You got it, Tuesday, Q.
I think you're my 8th cousin.
do? All right, get out of here. Come on,
see you
get
tomorrow.
Go out of your dinner.
We continue with Overkill.
All right.
I have 2.
You got two.
Yeah, I got two.
Yeah, I didn't bring a topic. I brought a discussion I wanted to have with you guys.
Okay.
But we'll go through yours.
One's longer than the other. And Q, you'll be interested in this because it's from the UK. Britain's longest-running rape investigation.
Oh.
It's a little
Is there
heavy,
a statute of limitations on it?
but I guess not.
Well, you can't prove it, right?
Well, unless you can if there's like DNA, because people committed those kinds of crimes in the 80s into the 90s and were like, I'll just spread my seed everywhere.
Right.
Never dreaming you watch all those forensic shows. It's fucking insane, isn't it?
Yeah.
I saw a show where they found some girl. She was all burned up. And first I'm like, why? Like what kind of person is going to burn another human being after committing some crime? But they found the where they burned her, and there was like this wood there. So they looked into the boyfriend who happened to be at a bonfire that night. And they took some of the wood from there and then compared it. But they can't use the rings and all this other shit. So they have some sort of gas, whatever the fucking word is, I can't remember it, where they heat it up and they pull these gases from it. And what they found was it was an unusual level of titanium or something in the wood, which is highly unusual. You don't see that in wood. But it happened to be right next to some sort of plant, some sort of industrial plant, and they thought it was leaching out, and that's why these trees had such high levels of titanium in them. It was mesquite trees. And they said definitively, like, this either came from the same tree or a tree in like this 100-yard radius. So it's highly likely that this person got it from.
That is crazy.
Who in a million years would dream like, oh, this is a perfect crime, man? I'll burn her up. No one will ever know. Because it's hard to get evidence from that. Never knowing that there's some really super smart scientist out there being like, well, if we can pull gases from this fucking wood.
That's great.
Yeah.
Good.
Right? Yeah, that's what I thought. I was like, he has to be like, you've got to be fucking kidding me.
Is that the short one?
What's that?
Is that the short story?
That was
that was an aside.
Oh, that was a bonus.
Yeah, that's a bonus overkill.
I know this is going to be controversial to say, but I am not a fan of rape.
Yeah.
So don't think it should be done.
I've got mixed feelings. Authorities have spent that time attempting to catch an unidentified sexual predator who's responsible for at least 17 attacks. All right? And then they go on to talk about his attacks. After one unsuccessful attack in 1999, the assailant left behind a hat with the Batman logo on it, which led him to being dubbed the Batman Rapist. One of the most bizarre characteristics...
DC's gotta fucking be like, fuck.
Right.
Why couldn't it be Spider-Man? Why couldn't it be a Spider-Man hat?
Yeah, some Marvel property, like some defunct character. He has an apparent tights fetish. He will often force the victim.
Kind of tights?
An apparent tights.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it would seem he likes tights. He would often force a victim to remove their underwear and put tights back on so that he could rip through them.
Oh God!
And on the one occasion that she wasn't wearing tights, he forced her to put on a pair that he brought with him. In 2000, he attempted to abduct a woman, but she got away. During the mid-90s, there were a few long gaps where he was inactive, and they were hoping that other victims would come forward. But he remains at large, and his identity is unknown. The Batman Rapist.
That's horrible.
Now, my question is, because I saw something on BTK the other day, and we've talked about those pictures often. What's going through someone's mind? Like, what experiences did they have that leads them to, like, they need to be enticed? And the Batman thing is incidental. If it was a fucking Big Ben hat, he would have been known as the Big Ben Rapist. And so that's kind of incidental.
So they should have named them the tight.
Yeah.
Attacker. Something with tights.
Tight.
Tight, yo. No, but
The rapist is tight, yo.
But the Batman. Yeah, I mean.
The Batman is just for the press, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because like, oops, I forgot my hat.
Well, if I'm one of the victims, I kind of like that they've called him that because it's putting him in the public eye. People aren't going to forget it. It's not a case that's going to go away. people are always going to remember the Batman rapist, and it's like, if that's what it takes to have cops remember the case, then I'm okay with it.
And how long has he been at large?
It would appear quite a while. Let's see. 22 years.
And when was the last time he committed a crime?
It doesn't say. The last time it says was 2000, but then it doesn't have
Probably
anybody
in jail or dead if he hasn't. If a guy isn't bringing tights, if tights aren't in play and any other recent attacks, he's probably, because it's not him. Then probably not at large anymore.
Yeah, it says there are a few long gaps when he was inactive, leading authorities to suspect that he has attacked other victims who never came forward. Or maybe, like you say, that's what happens with a lot of serial killers is, they drop off the map and you're like, well, why? And it's a lot of times because they're either dead or they got put in prison and for something else and nobody knows it's them.
Or if he's committing more crimes, maybe he really doesn't need tights. Maybe he could just do it without the tights.
It wouldn't seem so, though.
Well, you grow out of, these little fetishes. I mean, I'm not talking about the rape. I'm talking about the tights. You know what I mean? Like, something that works for you for a while. Sure.
I don't know. See, I think that's something that's that important to committing such a horrendous crime is something that you're like, I'm committed to this tight thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, could you guys do this? Could you handle a career as one of those criminal profilers where you are like, what they say, they get so inside their heads that they become affected? Could you guys handle that kind of mental anguish?
I'll say this much. After I saw Silence of the Lambs, I immediately looked into becoming a forensic investigator.
What stopped you?
Education, capability. It was harder then because it was the movie came out in 92, so it was really hard to sort of find out how to go about it. So I was like, fuck it then, But I was so into it. I was like, Jodie Foster. I was like, what a fucking cool job that would be.
I've seen real. There's this one lady who she's got to be in her late 50s. She's appeared on many of these criminal shows, giving her insight into the cases, and she looks mental. She looks
like it's affected her big time.
She looks so bizarre and so weird that I'm like, it definitely had to have an effect on her because she doesn't look normal. I wish I could remember her name, but.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably the crimes too. I mean, you see some of those crime scenes and it's like, how do you approach this scene and not be like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because most people's reaction is to get out of there and not sit in there and try to soak it all up like a sponge.
Yeah. It's not
find out, who did it.
Yeah. Let me take all these little clues and try to break down and profile what this person is like, what they were doing, Yeah. I don't know. Could you do it, Q?
I think maybe, because I've seen a lot of shit through work that's fucking really horrifying, and I was able to shake it off pretty easily.
Jokers?
Yeah. I mean, I've seen dead kids. I've scraped bodies out of cars. I've done all sorts of stuff.
Okay, so you've dealt with that, yeah. And if you weren't, you have prolonged effects after doing it.
No,
then,
you have bad days, but nothing that.
But no, PTSD.
No,
like
I would think though that the satisfaction factor would be out of this world if you're a profiler and you give enough information to law enforcement that here's what this guy is going to be. Boom, 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 boom. He's going to be this. He's going to be this. He's going to be this. And it turns out you were right, and you gave them an amazing heads up, not heads up, but a leg up on trying to find the culprit. That's got to be feel good, though, right?
Yes.
I mean, but also you're like, fuck, what's wrong with me that I was able to fucking figure all this out? Does it say something about my mental makeup?
Maybe it says more about their sort of acuity in terms of like they must have an encyclopedic knowledge of.
Oh, he's you're sure, right? You've seen him when they come out. He's going to be 30-year-old white man. Mm-hmm. He's going to collect stamps. Right. He's going to live with his mother, and he's going to show an unusual interest in the case. And
he's going to be addicted to OxyContin
KFC every other night. Right. These bizarre things are and they're right out of 6 out of 7.
Right. Yeah.
That's got to be like alarming, though, if you get it all right, though. Then I would be like, oof, I'm
Or do you start questioning yourself, like maybe I have psychic abilities, man?
Well, that's all done with science, or is science part of the like studying of the mind?
Oh,
Would
yeah.
that be part of science?
Yeah, I'd say so. How do you think BTK is still kicking himself in the ass to this day for relying on the cops to tell him the truth about that metadata on the disk?
Unless he did it on purpose. Unless he was I just want this to end, and I don't know how long I'm going to be alive. I want the glory of people reveling in me. The reveling, what he perceives as reveling of like the attention that's going to come my way. They're going to just want to know everything about me, like I'm like a superstar of some of killing, which he was,
yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he had an extended cooling off period too.
Years,
after
right?
After that Otero murder, yeah. But he wasn't like Henry.
Your overkills are really disturbing. You really are. It's like I thought for sure he's not going to bring murder or disappearance today. Wrong.
So if my second one was about children disappearing, you would.
Are you telling me your next story is also on the same vein?
Well, it's not about anybody with tights and rape or anything. That
Okay,
shit.
good.
But this one is about a Christmas Eve fire killing a bunch of kids.
How's that overkill, though?
George, because it's a mystery as to what happened.
Who set the fire?
Well, it was on Christmas. It was 1945. It was. This is the Sodder children disappearance. It was a guy, George, his wife Jenny, and 9 of their 10 children. 4 of those 9 were rescued, but the bodies of the other 5 were never found. The Sodders believed for the rest of their lives that the 5 missing children survived. Losing 1 kid is like, how do I go on? Losing 5 kids at once?
Oh, fuck. Dude, I went to the cemetery today to visit my grandparents' grave, and I looked. The grave right next to him was newly dug, and the name on the tombstone was a 70-year-old guy. And then I looked at the dates of the 2 people that were down there with him, and it was like a 16-year-old girl and a 22-year-old girl. So I was like, let me just type in the name and see what comes up. And I couldn't find what killed the girls, but this guy had 2 daughters, and both daughters died before him, and he's buried with them. And I was like, what the fuck is that? I had the same thought. I was like, how do you bury 2 daughters, man? Like that. One was 16. Like it just gave me the fucking creeps, man. Took it out of my grandparents' grave.
I was reading about Carol O'Connor today. Like his son.
Bunker?
Yeah, his son killed himself in 95.
Drug problem.
Yeah.
He was on a TV show with him in the heat of the night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And like reading like Carol O'Connor's words, it's like you really get the true devastation of, and he died like 6 years later.
Yeah.
After he did.
Guy, yeah. I mean, we all. I mean, that's no topic for overkill. Everybody knows it's fucking horrible to.
Well, if Pam and Edgar are listening, they probably hope I die before them.
Chuck Barris wrote a book about his daughter dying. It was pretty heartbreaking.
How old was she?
She was young. I think she was in her 30s. She was drug overdose, but he blamed the boyfriend for it.
Well, Carol O'Connor, like didn't he do some like he went after
the drug dealer.
He went after the drug dealers like with a mad on, like he wanted. Didn't you want a piece of flesh out of them?
Yeah, like a lawsuit and shit. Really? Like really wanted to take him to task for it.
Not like Death Wish style.
I thought it was like Death Wish style, but it was more under the guise of like suing them. But in a way, I guess that nobody had really thought about suing a drug dealer, right?
Up to that point,
Up to that point, yeah. I knew it was something that he did that was. I saw it on one of the news magazine shows that he had taken to one of the first people to sue a drug dealer.
Yeah, because the son's wife was like,
remember.
The son's wife was like, it's getting out of control, and so and she knew who the guy was, so that's how he was able to be like, all right, well, I'm gonna fucking sue him, and I think he countersued for libel or slander, whichever one.
Hugh O'Connor. He died in 1995.
Harry. I think that's when the son died. He died too in 95, that guy?
No, Hugh O'Connor was the son. He died at age 32 in 1995.
Right.
Did you guys ever have the drug talk with your parents?
Clearly, I didn't.
No.
Except for Pam, when can you get me more drugs?
But like, no, really though, when you were younger, they didn't come to you and say, you know, there's these things that you're going to be exposed to that, you know, you gotta be strong.
During one of our many father and son talks.
No. I haven't had it either, and I'm like, when do I do it, or do I do it? Because I didn't have it.
I didn't have it either, but Pam acted like Pam was a product of the 50s where like anything that was said believed. Reefer Madness, this is 100% true. Like if you watch Reefer Madness, those guys are on fucking crystal meth or something.
I never saw it.
It's crazy. Wide-eyed, banging on a piano, like the complete opposite of weed.
Because weed, I just go to sleep. I smoke weed within a half hour, I'm asleep.
Right.
Yeah.
But Pam always painted it out to be this drug that was going to like ruin your mind, and it was as bad as doing heroin or whatever else, you know, coke or whatever else was available. And that's really all I remember.
Well, what do you expect her to do? Like, that's what she was taught. She's not going to go into books and do research about it. Like, why would she knows drugs is bad? That's all she needs to know.
Right. Yeah, but I mean, this is also the same woman that told me everyone but Methodists are going to hell. So,
right. Well,
so you know, there was a certain degree.
She's not wrong.
There's a certain degree of skepticism that I grew up with that turned me into the cynical fuck I am today.
So neither you had the drugs talk. Did you have a birds and bees talk, or did that just?
My parents never had a single talk with me about anything ever.
Yet you turned into the sex machine that you are.
Do you think it was?
Here's what I think happened.
Do you wish you had to talk, or it doesn't matter?
No, I think I did a good job of navigating it, I think, on my own. My mother was 18 when she got married. You know what I mean? And my father, for all the love he gave us, wasn't the most involved father. So I think he was just like, ah, fuck it. And what the hell did my mom know?
Ah, fuck it.
But like, and what does it like? Does that talk mean you're getting emotional? Like you're getting an emotional explanation, or is it only the birds and bees talk? Should it only be about like the physical explanation, what happens physically?
Hard facts, how to protect yourself so you don't get diseases. Or not even. You're just talking about.
I don't know.
I
didn't have it either.
I'm pretty sure they know how reproduction works. Like by the time you're 10, right?
I think every fucking parent should sit their kid down and be like, do not have a girlfriend or a boyfriend until you're in your 30s. That's the fucking talk that parents should be having with their kids. Like, do not do it.
Yeah. It's tough though. Like teenagers, they get passionate about shit. Man.
Sure, that's what being teenagers is all about, and that's fine, but like, don't fucking do it. Don't do it. I don't think anybody should be married before the age of 30. I think that should be a fucking.
Yeah. And you look at Flanagan though, and success story.
That's true. That's right.
Was I under 30 or over 30?
No, I thought you were in like your mid-20s, like 26, 27.
That's close. Though.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you got 94, 2004, 2014, so it's 23 years ago. Yeah, you're 25.
Yeah, but I also think that Walt has a not a typical marriage. I think he's happy. I think a lot of people aren't, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, you don't know yourself. Sometimes well into your 20s. You definitely don't know yourself when you're a teenager. But that's when you think you know everything.
Was like when it was coming into focus for me. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Plus, I think there's something to learning to survive on your own and being on your own before you become dependent on another person. That served me well because I got engaged, when I was 23. And if I had gotten married, it would be...
You'd be divorced by now.
I'd be divorced, or I'd be deeply unhappy, or I definitely wouldn't have any of the experiences that I've had, and those experiences are invaluable to me. Not that I wouldn't have felt the same way if I was married, but just looking back now, it's like that's...
Hey, let's be honest. You wouldn't have felt the same way.
I wouldn't have felt the same way.
You wouldn't be on TV right now, probably. If you
but that doesn't matter. That doesn't bring me any joy. You know what I mean? Like, that just brings me money, which is... doesn't bring me joy either, but it allows me to buy fucking stupid
Holy
shit.
I'm joyless.
No, I'm not. I'm not, though. I'm not joyless. Like, all the things in my life that bring me joy are, God, you know what, man? This is a weird conversation to be having because I go to therapy, and I had a conversation today about it, about how for the first time in my life, like, ever since I got sick, and the idea of, and that shifted the paradigm of what's important to me and what's not important to me. And like now I know what makes me happy, and I have things in my life that make me happy. And for the first time ever, this is so new to me, I'm terrified of losing it. I'm terrified of losing people that are important to me. I'm terrified of myself getting sick and dying. Like, I am never worried about that stuff before. Even when I was a fireman, even when the job came with a degree of anger, of danger, I was like, I didn't even think about it. And now, like, I'm starting to enter this worry wart phase of my life. And my doc was like, she was like, it's called vulnerability. She's like, and that's what happens when you care about things and people. And it's just like, I guess, I never cared really deeply about things that I worried about before. Like, if that makes sense. Not that I didn't worry about it, but like you guys have been my friends forever. And it's like, I never worried about you because you guys just could take care of yourself. You know what I mean? I don't know why. I don't know. It was just it's in my head now because I had the whole conversation.
Is it also, you think, you cross a certain threshold of age and you know that things won't last forever?
Yeah, that's definitely part of it.
The things that are really good. There's a line, and I was watching Happy Days the other night, and there was the most poetic line, and a line that really hit me. Fonzie's playing Hamlet on stage, and the parents aren't paying attention. And he stops the play, and he goes, hey, he goes, listen up. He goes, you people better dig what you got now, because it won't last forever. And
referring to himself?
No, he's referring to the fact that like their parents were, you better dig that your kids are up here now putting on this play for you.
Oh,
right. Because you ain't going to have this forever. This stage certain things only last for a certain amount of time, the way they are, and if they're great right now, you want them to stay the way they are right now.
But they can't.
But inevitably, they're going to change, and things are going to not be the same, and bad things will happen, bad things, just life will happen.
Right. Like, I'm going to lose my parents.
They're one and the same for me.
Like, I'm going to watch Friends go down. I already have, but
right.
like, I'm going to watch
we can go
things.
right. Just what you're thinking about. Yeah, I definitely like with what happened with Mark. It's definitely been a gigantic it's something I thought I could think about when I wake up. I think about it right before I go to sleep. The same exact thing is like. Things were really, really good. And
are we glossing over? You just said the first thing I think about when I get up, and the last thing before I go to bed is like it's all going to end. Like
no, I'm thinking about what happened to Mark.
Oh, okay.
You think like when you wake up, you're like, was that a dream? It wasn't a dream.
Right.
And then when you go to sleep, and you're getting ready, and you're just settling down, and you're getting ready to fall asleep, and you're like, certain things, like a song will come on, or something or something is said on TV that makes you just remember it. But
yeah,
you come into the store and there's a song that isn't on your playlist, and you see "Get 'Em," and you're like, "That wasn't a dream."
Yeah. I think it's just you're just getting into that age, man, where you are, and you're cognizant of. I don't want things to change right now because I'm very happy right now. So why?
Well, I think this is really like this era of my life is the first time in my life that I'm really happy. Like I don't think I've ever had that before now. Last few years have been really good to me, and it's that thing where it's like
I find it I find it not odd sounds right, but like wow, I mean that's a heavy day though. You go to a grave site to see your grandparents, and then you're also at therapy though. That's a very very deep day.
Yeah, well, I've been thinking about my grandparents a lot lately. Like, this is all this stuff that's been coming into it. Like, I wish I had one more day with them to appreciate that, which I didn't before. And, and that was like, I just want to honor them at least by visiting them. And, I don't know.
Does that make the little things that like go awry on IJ seem less important than they were like over maybe even as little as
but I've always been that guy. That with IJ, like, I've been that guy. I've always been the guy that's been like, guys, it's just a TV show. Like, fucking relax. I've said that to every director we've had, every producer we've had, the entire crew. Like, when I see guys getting worked up, I'm like, it's a fucking TV show. Like, just calm down. Like, it's not that big of a deal.
But I've also seen you get very, very upset about the things that have been going on in the show, too.
Sure.
Like, so has that level of like, intensity where you're like gone down?
Yeah, but in a weird way, too, it's just like what you've seen me get upset about lately has all been matters of money. And to me, it's just like, for me, that's just like, well, now I'm building a life that I want to have. And you need money to do that. So it's like now when some fucking shady network guy wants to take money away from me, I translate that, and I'm working on this as well, as like, well, now you're just trying to take away from the life I'm building. Like, and now it's personal. You know what I mean? Like, I've equated money with personal now. Because one day the show is going to end, it's just like, my income's going to fucking plummet to nothing.
I told you got that Tuesday covered, though.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I need benefits. So
And how long is it your therapist? Is it someone you've been seeing a long time?
Over 10 years.
So you stuck with the same?
Not like sometimes I'll take a break for like I've taken I think like 8 months here off and shit like that. And when I get really busy with IJ, I don't have time to go in.
Did they question why you taking 8 months off?
No, she knows.
Oh, yeah?
She gets it, and I do a good job of like keeping in touch. But she's a very important figure in my life. There you go. I don't know.
So these murdered kids.
Oh, yeah, the fire.
The fire, yeah.
Losing 10 kids.
Christmas
Losing
Eve,
5 kids.
1945. I won't read the whole thing, but it was suspected that, like, some people thought he was a Mussolini sympathizer and all this other shit.
So the neighborhood somebody in the neighborhood was like, let's get that Mussolini.
Let's get the Mussolini guy. The telephone rang at 12:30 a.m. Jenny woke up and went downstairs and answered. It was a woman whose voice she did not recognize, asking for a name she wasn't familiar with the sound of laughter and clinking glasses in the background. She told the caller they had reached a wrong number, and the woman made a weird laugh and hung up. Okay? At 1 a.m., she was awakened by the sound of an object hitting the house's roof with a loud bang.
Oh my God, this is horrible already.
Both parents and 4 of their children escaped the house once they realized that the husband's office was on fire. And efforts to find aid and rescue the children were unexpectedly complicated. The phone didn't work, so she ran to a neighbor's to call the fire department. A driver on the nearby road had seen the flames and called the nearby tavern. They were also unsuccessful, either because they couldn't reach the operator or because the phone turned out to be broken. All right? The guy climbs the wall, breaks open an attic, cutting his arm in the process. They're all frustrated. There's nothing they can do except watch their fucking house burn down. And the chief told him to leave the site undisturbed. This is the dad. So the marshal could conduct a more thorough investigation. But after 4 days, he and his wife could not bear the site anymore. So he bulldozed 5 feet of dirt over the site with the intention of converting it to a memorial for his lost children. A fire was caused by faulty wiring. And, he wasn't a communist sympathizer. Among the jurors was a man who had threatened him that his house would be burned down and his children destroyed in retribution for anti-Mussolini remarks. So it's because he was a fucking patriot that maybe this guy was giving him shit. They found a ladder had been missing from the side of the house on the night of the fire and was on an embankment nearby. Telephone repairman had told him that the phone's house line had not been burned through in the fire, as they initially thought, but it had been cut by someone who had climbed 14 feet up a pole to do it. A man whose neighbors had seen stealing block and tackle from the property was identified and arrested. He admitted to the theft and admitted he had been the one who cut the phone line, thinking it was a power line. Who cuts a fucking power line?
That's pretty dangerous.
Without expecting to get fucking zapped.
Yeah.
Right? So, basically, they never find the kids.
What do you mean never found the kids?
The 5 kids that are missing.
They never found them.
Never found them, ever. Nope, they weren't.
That's not even possible.
They weren't burned. They disappeared. Nobody knows what happened to them. So they don't know if they somehow took 5 kids out of this house. A few months later, when the snow had melted, the wife found a small, hard, dark green rubber ball-like object in the brush nearby. George, recalling the wife's account of a loud thump, said it looked like a pineapple bomb hand grenade or some other incendiary device. And the family later claimed that, contrary to the fire marshal's conclusion, the fire had started on the roof, although by then there was no way to prove it. Now, do you fucking start bulldozing dirt over over the crime scene? Probably not,
no
right?
Fucking way. Not unless you're covering something else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They did hire a private investigator to look into the case. He learned that the insurance salesman who had threatened with fire the year before about George's remarks about Mussolini had been on the coroner's jury that ruled the fire an accident. This dude's pretty suspicious, right? Mm-hmm. This guy. They also, despite his report to the Sodders that no remains had been found in the ashes, they had found a heart, which he later packed into a metal box and secretly reburied. He had apparently confessed this to a local minister. Yeah, I guess.
This is all the dead?
Morris had apparently confessed this to a local minister who confirmed it to George Sodder. I guess so. The minister was like, "Hey, this is what this guy is saying." Yeah, this is the dude who's pissy about the Mussolini shit.
Well, no heart would ever be found just completely.
It doesn't fall out,
right? And there's no other parts of the body around it.
That's what they were saying. They took what they found inside the box to a local funeral director and said in reality it was a beef liver. Very fresh that had never been exposed to fire. So somebody's putting a beef liver there.
Or maybe the dad.
Or they replaced it with a beef liver. The excavation, he didn't report for sightings to come in. Sometimes he made them himself after seeing a girl in a magazine who kind of looked like one of his daughters. He also tried to interest the FBI, investigating in what he considered a kidnapping. Hoover personally responded to his letters, but he said it's a local thing. FBI's not going to get involved in this.
5 kids just go missing?
Totally missing, yeah. Let's see. They said that the top limit of age should be about 22. They found the 40s, right? They found these bones, 45. Like, how much could they have known back then, right? They're just guessing at shit, I assume.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure the level of investigation was...
It's a really long article, if you want to read it, but it's pretty interesting. In like tips came in. A woman in St. Louis claims Martha was being held in a convent.
This took place in St. Louis?
This was, let me see, Fayetteville, West Virginia.
Oh, okay.
Right. So
maybe Fitzman could give us a little information, isn't he, from St. Louis?
Yeah.
I'm sure he might have a little bit of...
It's not that far of a drive to Fayetteville, West Virginia. Go check it out, Fitzman.
He still listened?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he listens.
Yeah. George died in 1969. Jenny and her surviving children, except for John, who never talked about the night except to say the family should accept it and get on with their lives. That sounds suspicious. And she died in 1989. And they put up a billboard, and then they finally took it down. They're like, all right, I guess.
It'll never be solved.
They say that...
is there any modern movement on this or no?
I don't think so.
It's just done.
The latest
disappeared off the face of the fucking planet.
The latest thing was Stacey Horn, who did a segment for National Public Radio around its 60th anniversary in 25, believes the children's death in the fire is the most plausible solution. She posted on a blog that she noted the fire had continued to smolder all night after the house collapsed and that 2 hours is not enough time to search the ash thoroughly.
So she's saying the bones could still be there.
She's saying they could have still been there unless, since that guy fucking pushed dirt all over the place. But yeah, they never found them. The youngest in the family as of 2015 is the only one still alive of the surviving children who were in the house the night of the fire. Well, let's see. Even if it was 45, that would be 70 if she was born in 45, so over 70. I was one of the last kids to leave home. She and her father often stayed up late talking about what might have happened. I experienced her grief for a long time. She still believes that her siblings survived that night and quietly assist with efforts. There's talk that it could have been the Sicilian mafia was trying to extort money from the guy, and the children were taken by someone who knew about the arson. And maybe taken back to Italy.
There's no way this story's ever going to get traction. Nobody's ever going to find these kids.
No, I don't think they're still hoping. Though there was a cold case recently. Did you read about it in the news? It was like 50 years old, and they solved it. It was actually a serial killer from Jersey.
Was the serial killer still alive?
No, he died in prison a while back, so he couldn't be taken to task for it. But somehow with DNA or whatever, they figured it out. So that's Bry's happy time overkill segment.
Like, we got Gidim brings us alternate timelines.
Right.
I'm trying to convince Q about time travel, and you're bringing us dead children.
But there is a dark side.
But with no real twist of the abnormal or the what's it called, the
You don't call five kids going missing and never seen again?
Oh, I call it a tragedy, but this would be like crime, though. This,
maybe crime, maybe not.
Like, did they fall into a wormhole?
Yeah, I mean, is there
I
a
think
pyramid underneath that house?
I think what happened is there was a time portal nearby that no one noticed.
All right, now you're talking.
And they think the kids in the confusion ran into it and now live on Earth 3.
Yeah.
Happily.
What was your top? Well, you wanted a conversation, right? You don't have.
Yeah, I don't know if it's good on the heels of that.
Well, I have another one.
I don't know, man. I think I'll save it for another Overkill.
There's also the Beaumont children disappearance. If you're
Wait a minute. It's got to. It's got. Is it at least
end on a higher note?
in the universe of the Overkill?
Well,
that listeners have come.
It
to
had
expect?
to do with death and stuff like that. So I don't know if we're going to continue to go that. I was just thinking about I wanted to ask you guys what you want to happen to your bodies after you die.
Guys, remember what Overkill was about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. It was supposed to be the unexplained and the mysteries of the universe. And all right, what
happens after you die, Walt?
To my physical body or to my mental
it's all right.
state? I like that.
We know what's going to happen to your physical body. I'm going to rape it and fucking a Batman hat. I'm going to put you in tights.
You know what happened is I was sitting there and I was looking at my grandparents' tombstone, and it's like one tombstone in 1,000, just rows of the same thing. And I was like, when did death become this like they used to have these giant mausoleums and like these giant death was like done something with it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. And now it's just like everybody has these tiny little tombstones, and it just made me think. And then it got me down the road. Like, there's a cemetery on Staten Island called Moravian that they say is haunted by the Vanderbilt family.
You took your balloon? That cemetery that's haunted?
Oh, the skeleton balloon?
Yeah, is that where you took your balloon that night?
No, I took it in my basement.
Oh, okay.
Fucked it down there.
Get some privacy.
No, like the Vanderbilt tomb on Staten Island in Moravian Cemetery is like, I mean, I'll show you pictures of it. It's pretty unbelievable.
This has also become one of those things where I can't really remember if Quinn fucked the skeleton balloon or not now.
It's the Mandela effect!
like the memory has just sort of turned into like, he definitely did it.
I'm fine with it.
I mean, the Mandela effect is all over Tom Steve Dave. Sunday Jeff said, respect me, respect my money, right? Mm-hmm. That was one of the real things he said at this point.
Yeah.
I don't remember if it was one of his fake things.
Oh, yeah.
I think he said it.
Did he say it in Dollar Shave?
Like, that's on Staten Island, that mausoleum.
That's Vanderbilt?
That's just one person's mausoleum?
It's a family. There's not a lot of people, but they say it's haunted and stuff like that. And
that's the Vanderbilt Museum, you say? Or
mausoleum. Yeah. They say it's haunted. I mean, it's just fucking gorgeous.
Wait until you see the Johnson mass grave. You'll be even more impressed.
Well, I mean, you realize why people can't do that in this day and age, right?
No room?
No room. And the amount of money, I mean, there's probably...
Well, no, I'm not talking about this. This is obviously like a step above. This is haunted, they say, which is why the only reason I brought it up.
That looks like it's hundreds of thousands of dollars.
I mean, I'm sure it's in
today's dollars? I mean,
maybe even $1 million.
Yeah.
Like, look at it. It's built into a mountain. You know what I mean?
What do you think about shit like that? It's like, I mean, because it harkens back to like the pharaohs needing to be buried in these extravagant surroundings. So the belief in the afterlife for them was strong, but to this, it seems ostentatious. Not that they're like, we have such heavy belief systems as, ancient Egyptians, but we're the fucking Vanderbilts. We're not going to just have a regular old tombstone.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that could happen. That you could say that.
Yeah.
But I mean, what else are they going to spend their money on?
Well, that's the thing. Like, I mean, there's got to leave it to your fucking
countless
kids?
Vanderbilt heirs.
But they don't need money.
What do you think happens?
I don't think
you've gone on record as saying you don't believe that there's another.
I don't think there's
plane
anything
for you to travel to.
No, I wish there was. I do wish there was. I do wish there was, but I also.
Why do you have to wish? You don't have to wish. All you got to do is believe.
But I would just be saying I believe. I don't actually believe. You know what I mean?
When Cornelius Vanderbilt died, he had the equivalent of 2.3. I'm sorry. Holy shit. 2 billion. 2 trillion. Is that, could that be right?
Yeah.
2,333,296,000,000. No, it'd be 2 billion.
I mean, either way,
$333,296,875. So 2 billion's pretty decent, especially like back then, right?
Oh God, yeah. It's fucking crazy. I don't know.
They died in like the later quarter of the 1800s. Then their children, then their children's children. That's what sucks when you had a magnate, like great grandfather, and then everybody fucks and it gets spread out so much, and then suddenly it's like, well, you get $150. Yeah. Or you're like Paris Hilton. It's just like a generation removed. So
I don't know. I think it would have been a topic not on the heels of 2 child murder stories. It doesn't feel like the timing was
only
right.
One child murder. And then one bad.
No, I'm not holding you. I'm not blaming you for that. I'm just saying, like, it was just poor timing to bring up the Vanderbilt.
Do you think about that? Do you think about like burial and all that shit?
No, because what happens after that is pointless. What happens here is pointless to me.
The store?
No, I mean on Earth. What happens on here on Earth is pointless to me. It's what you worry about is where your soul is going.
Oh, okay.
I'm
assuming
hoping,
there's a soul.
I'm going to say I'm going to go on the record as I believe there is a soul, and
does everyone have one? Is what I'm wondering. Oh, really?
Everyone has one, but you can sully it and you can soil it.
Some souls are corrupted.
Through repeated, debauchery. But
bingo games, glasses of beer,
marijuana, cigarettes.
What I hope is true is that you're able to visit from time to time this plane so I can see stuff that I want to see. Like, I would love to, hit a Super Bowl as a ghost.
Well, here's the thing that I see, Walt.
And just sit in an open seat?
I don't have to sit. I could watch right above. I could right above the quarterback.
Oh, you're flying around.
Well, I'm floating.
Okay,
I'm not flying.
I feel like it's either going to be nothing or we can't possibly imagine what's going to happen.
It's probably like a human mind cannot comprehend what it waits for us on the other side.
Yeah.
Can the kids say that? The Jay Sarge's kids say that?
What's that?
The human mind, like for the Overkill. The human mind cannot comprehend what awaits for us on the other side.
All right.
That's spooky.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's all right.
Spooky little kids.
But if I had to guess, people who have seen ghosts.
Yeah.
They seem to want to stay in this plane. I'm hoping that it's like a vacation, when you're up in heaven, you could put in for I want to go down, I want to see something that's coming up, and I get to go.
That's why you're all about respecting the boss. You're like, I'm not going to change God's playlist. I'm not going to beg for discounts at the restaurants.
I hope and then I can go see places on Earth that I never got to see while I was alive.
So you're okay with flying around and floating after death, but flying in life.
Yeah, because you can't be hurt on this plane. You can't be. Nothing can happen to you.
Really think there's no injuries in heaven? Nobody's like, fuck, twisted my ankle.
No, I don't.
In hell, though, right?
I think there's nothing but exhilaration and
sunshine
pleasure.
And lollipops and
there's no. You can't. even if you try to experience pain, I don't think it's possible.
Yeah, but one day the universe is going to fold on itself and disappear. It's like
why? According to who?
Science.
According to some potshot who says this is what I think.
Well, not one dude.
But there's plenty of people who don't.
Well, one day the Earth is going to be gone. You can't deny that. That's what happens.
The people that believe that are called scientists. Yeah. The other ones are called. I sure fucking hope.
Because the sun has a finite life. It just does.
There's other suns.
So the Earth is going to float to another sun.
Or maybe we leave and we go to another planet and I mean, look at what we fucking has done as a race in just 50 years.
Sure.
Okay, we were playing Pong on a fucking TV with just two white lines and a ball. And now we've got computers on your wrist that can get you from the moon and back if you were in a fucking tight spot.
Right. Well, can they?
Yeah, I don't know about that last.
What are you talking about?
Remember when that movie Apollo 10?
Yeah, 13.
13.
Right? Yeah.
You remember how the shit that they were using? They were using a wristwatch, and and that wristwatch was just like an old fucking Timex.
What wristwatch are you talking about?
Remember they were just putting shit together out of like paperclip.
Well, they were using
tissues.
math and science.
You know, it wasn't a documentary, right?
No, but like you're going to deny to me that you don't think that computer that your
iPhone,
your iWatch or whatever it's called.
I don't have an iWatch, but yeah, I got it.
You have
my
one,
Timex.
Don't you have one though?
No,
not on.
Not
but you
anymore.
have one, right?
Yes, I have one. Yes.
Okay, that Apple Watch.
Yes.
Is more advanced than probably a capsule that went to the moon.
Without a doubt.
Okay.
Without a doubt.
Okay, so I just made my point.
Allegedly went to
But the Earth is still going to boil away into the sun.
According to some people who just want to fucking get their name in the paper. Or they want to get their fucking
Stephen Hawking glory found and shit.
But if they just say Earth's going to go on forever, they don't get no ink.
Well, I think it would get a lot of ink if that happened. But what about just the evolution of the planet Earth?
What about it?
Like Pangea and how things evolve and stuff like that. You don't believe
Atlantis?
any of that either? What?
We talking about Pangea and Atlantis?
Not Atlantis, the actual thing that existed, Pangea.
Yeah, the proven.
What's Pangea?
That was when all the continents were one continent and they break up.
And Atlantis was part of that.
I don't think it's a recognized officially anyway.
But Atlantis is a part of that, though.
How?
Some people say it is, just because that's what kills me. Is that because somebody says something that's negative, it's gospel.
But it's not negative. They could prove ancient Rome existed. They can't prove.
Denying. Who's denying that?
No one, because there's fucking evidence that ancient Rome existed. And there's no evidence that Atlantis existed.
Yeah, there's no evidence that
Atlantis. That's my point. Nobody would deny ancient Rome existed.
Well, can we point to any proof that Pangea, what's it called?
Yes, there's lots of evidence.
What's the evidence?
Well,
if you take all the continents and push them together, they roughly fit together.
And if we are to believe that from the fucking books that everything the exact shape of the continents are exactly as what they say, there's no room for error on how the continents are shaped.
But there's also,
you really think Italy looks like a boot?
Yeah, it's called satellite. What the fuck? Are you kidding me?
There's also,
it's not like people just walked around and they kind of drew what they thought. I mean, there's satellite images.
It doesn't look. When you look at it,
what is in the paint in this fucking walls? Is it lead based?
Are you eating the chips?
But it doesn't look like it does on the globe, though.
No, yes, it does.
It doesn't.
No, I mean, you're talking about the globe is round.
Oh, well, you're talking about like the size of, right. They mess with the perspective a little bit, but the actual size of it is plus the fossil records of.
So you're telling me before satellites,
yeah,
there were no globes?
There were maps
and
using
so
science.
How did they know what the shape of the continents were back then?
Because they use science to survey them. You can say that.
They look exactly the same. And they were able to get those exact shapes without the help of a satellite. And when the satellite went up there, they were like, "Yep, oh yeah, they were right." All those guys in fucking Galileo's age were able to fucking find out the exact shape of the continents.
I don't know Galileo's age, but
even earlier,
they
right?
were eventually. No, afterwards they were able to figure it out. You can look up maps.
You're telling me there was no globes in Galileo's age?
You can look at maps from the 1800s that are fucking pretty goddamn accurate, dude.
Okay, how'd they do it?
They survey the land. They
were able to fucking find out, like, oh, Italy, yeah, it's the boot.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Come on.
What do you mean, come on? That's the way it was.
Come on.
It's all mathematics.
I mean, if you look, I'm looking at the history of cartography.
Right.
And the early maps from 8,000 years ago, don't really look like the maps you see today.
Right.
But I think as time went on and people were able to, I mean, even in an airplane, you might be able to see certain, But
you don't even need to.
Aspects.
Once they figured out how the math of it works, they could do it pretty accurately. But it's not even that.
How many years ago? 8,000 years ago, you said?
Yeah.
8,000 years ago.
That's what it said.
8,000 years ago, they had maps, and they were pretty close, but not exactly.
It doesn't look close.
Not at all.
No, but as time went on, like I guess they were guessing at that point.
And why made them stop guessing?
Satellites.
Well, no, math.
That's what I'm saying.
No. Math got more developed. Like you could work out what things look like by positioning and stuff like that using equations and your eyes. Of course, you could work that out. You could look at a map of New Jersey from 1800s, and I bet you it's pretty fucking accurate.
And I find that strange.
Why?
I find it to be.
But if you measure this distance and this distance, and you get that down exactly,
but you got to figure out what it looks like from what the shape is, though. Like this, you know what I'm saying?
But you can figure that out by
math.
Yeah, of course.
I was thinking of you the other day, Walt. I was reading about Van Gogh, and
here's a map. Here's a map of New Jersey from 1872. 1872.
No satellites.
No satellites. I mean, that's it.
So you're also. How did they fucking get those? How did they know for sure where the cuts were? Those intricate cuts like that of the landmass.
Because once you figure it out, you can figure anything out. Like then it's just a matter of going there, looking at it, piecing together that small piece.
So how come it took to 1970 for Pong then? But figure out we can figure out what a landmass is.
I think
thousands of miles up in the sky, what the land is going to look like.
I think probably because it was more important to know your surroundings than play a game of Pong.
Why? But why is it more important to know from the sky what?
I don't even know what you're asking now, man. You've lost me completely.
Why is it more important though to know how high what a continent looks like from 2 miles or 10 miles up in the sky?
They're not doing it so you could see what the Earth looks like from the sky. They're doing it so you can get from point A to point B.
In the water.
On land. If you want to build a road, you need an accurate map. You can't just be like, all right, just go straight until you hit Red Bank. You got to plot it out on a fucking map. What are you hang? I don't understand. I feel like I've lost my mind.
I just believe that there's a lot of shit we just take for granted. We just fucking. It's been so long and nobody questions it, and we're just like, yeah, okay, that's just the way it is.
But what are you questioning? I don't understand what you're questioning.
I question that like the sun's going to burn out, and I question that the Earth was eventually going to just fucking cease to exist.
Why would they say it if there was no...
To get their name in a book.
To get their name in the papers.
Because really...
Rex, read all about it.
Why do you want...
Sun is not going to burn out.
Yeah, why do you want to buy... Why are you more interested in to buy the paper when everything's groovy? Or hey, everything's going to hit everything's going to turn to shit.
I got to tell you, I never buy newspapers. If I saw everything's groovy as the headline, in a fucking heartbeat, I would buy it.
We all know. Would you agree, though, that bad news sells?
Oh, absolutely. More people are reading about, say, something like Orlando than they would read about
a positive news story.
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay, so then why? So if you're a physicist. Or
but you're talking
a
about
meteorologist.
Bad news versus reality, though. Like the sun is nothing more than a giant star that will eventually burn itself out, like all stars do.
That's how black holes are created.
So they say.
But you believe the Bible. I don't get this.
He's a creationist.
Well, I mean, I'm just not willing to. I mean, I think there's a lot of. You don't believe there's a lot of shit that just is just been said for so long that. People just believe it.
Like we went to the moon?
Like what? Yeah, I'm sure there is, but like what?
I mean, it could be anything, though. We just take it for granted because it's just the way it is.
Well, they used to say that the Earth was flat till they figured out it wasn't.
Right.
But that's what I'm saying.
Exactly my point.
I thought you were a kind of guy who's like question everything except nothing.
Well, I'm not going to do the fucking math on it myself. I mean, if Stephen Hawkins is telling me that,
well, again, no, I don't know why we automatically just assume whatever these guys tell us about stuff that nobody really knows. Nobody knows what space is. Nobody knows what it's really made of.
It's made of nothing. That's the whole point of it.
They do know a lot. I mean, this is
they theorize a lot. It's all theories.
Like you saw Event Horizon, right?
No.
Oh, okay. In Event Horizon.
The horror movie?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
basically Event Horizon is
Pretty good. Do you remember it being good?
I really liked it, except for the black guy in the end, which suddenly became very like, oh, hell no, you ain't going to do this to me. It was like,
that's
why
right.
would
It was
you
like played for
fucking do
laughs,
that?
right?
The movie was a horror movie up to that point, and then they're like, all right, you got to be the funny black guy.
Yeah.
It was absolutely fucking ridiculous. But Event Horizon, in space terms, is basically the point of no return, where like you can't, the gravity will pull you, like even light can't escape it. So by that point, nothing can come back, so they don't know what's beyond that. But when you talk about wormholes and black holes and all this other shit, it's like, I don't know how people fucking measure this shit. I don't know how they get their minds around it. But, they've built massive telescopes that can see light years. So I kind of believe those guys.
Believe what?
I believe that, like,
Well, why is it to say that the Earth's going to cease to exist, though?
Because the sun will go
How
through its
many-
lifetime.
well, if we don't do it first.
I mean, billions of years.
Billions.
Billions. Yeah.
Why are we even worried about it then?
I'm not worried about it. You're the one that's a ghost floating around. I'm just
I was promised a Super Bowl.
Well, why is it even? I mean, it's you don't even know. But no, I mean, it could be trillions of years, right?
Sure.
Could be zillions.
Sure.
Stephen Hawking came out today and changed the estimate from trillions of years to zillions of years, a non-existent number.
Said Hawkins, everything's groovy.
He just tries to make people scared.
Because he's pissed, right? He's like, fuck them.
And he tries to sound like and if you don't believe what he says, like you're an idiot.
Right, you're like,
if
he's
you
the
believe in
smartest
God,
guy ever.
You're a fucking fool.
I don't know that he said that. Has he said that?
I think he
Well,
said...
he implied it.
Well,
Yeah.
I think he said religion is for
Fools.
basically for scared people or frightened people who are afraid of the dark or something. I can't remember his exact
So
quote.
he is anti-religion.
I mean, the dude's like a top physicist. I'm sure he's like, come on.
He's like, what are you people
Because
talking
there are always
about?
easy answers growing up where it's like, well, why would God allow this to happen? Oh, I gave man free will. It's like, what the fuck does that mean?
It means you get to choose the path you lead. It means
Right,
you get
but if somebody else-
and if you choose a path of destruction and the evil path, I mean, you put yourself there. You have no one else to blame but yourself.
Right, but what about the girl who's walking down the lane in the UK and suddenly a fucking asshole with a Batman hat pops out and some tights in his hand and he's like, oh!
Yeah, that's the tough one.
Like
I'm not going to deny that. I'll deny all your
people.
other fucking bullshit. But I won't deny that. That's a tough one to answer.
Walt Flanagan, science denier.
Here there be monsters.
Yeah. Walt, I thought you would find this interesting. This was Van Gogh. You know Starry Night, the painting?
Yeah.
They were looking at it, and the painting is lights and clouds flow and turbulence swirls in the night sky. And they said, like, how turbulence works, they still don't understand. You can't see it. You can't avoid it. It's just there. But they found that Van Gogh's painting...
I'm surprised we admit we don't know everything.
In particular... yeah, I know, right? In particular, paintings from periods when his mental illness was at a peak. That painting mirrors natural turbulence down to mathematical precision.
Get the fuck out.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yep. His brushwork made use of a property known as luminance, a measure of the relative brightness between different points. And I guess
unintentionally.
They said intuitive, perhaps. I mean, down to mathematical, mathematical precision, though. That seems like not an accident.
Yeah, well, that's why he's a genius.
Right. Physicists took digital pictures of the paintings to calculate the relative probability that two pixels at a certain distance would have the same luminescence, and
that's pretty
he nailed
crazy.
it. Yeah, he nailed it.
That's a genius. That's just a genius of work, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, there were a couple guys out there who, I mean, you got your Isaac Newtons, right? You got your, what's the fucking guy with the crazy hair? Einstein. Like, people who...
Louis Pasteur.
Louis Pasteur. We can drink milk thanks to him. That were so far... I mean, they were considered heretics. some of them, early on and got punished. But without them paving the way, I guess we wouldn't be having this conversation. Like the earth is flat and like, I love you, God.
We could still be having this conversation. Not really. I mean, why wouldn't we be able to have this conversation?
I'm talking about like all the people who have said like, I don't know if I'm believing what's being fed here, Because think about it, like early on, like,
well, that's what they said, right?
Yes, it was in the papers back then.
No, that's what they. But wouldn't you agree that Einstein was like, I'm not going to believe everything that I'm going to figure it out for myself?
Oh yeah, skeptics. Yeah, exactly. I mean, something like I've watched tons of documentaries on like the assembly and the creation of like the nuclear bomb. It's insane. Like it's insane that these guys figured all this shit out. And then we're like, let's make bigger bombs.
Think about it. Think about how insane it is, because to this day, there's still some countries that are like, we can't fucking figure it out.
Right, yeah.
Right? I mean, this was many...
Right, they're as close as I am to creating a nuclear bomb. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, and it's speculated.
I don't know, all that information is probably on the internet. It's just getting the materials also is
now it is.
Yeah.
But back
there was
then,
a time where, like, before the internet, like, countries are like, we got to find this. How do they do it?
Well, when they were working on the originals, the Fat Man and the Little Boy, they, they're at White Sands. You had the Manhattan Project, but at the White Sands, they found out that there were a couple of spies within the science community there that were feeding shit back to the Russians, which is how they came up with it so fast. And then you got to figure they pass on the information to somebody else. But you're talking about a country. I was thinking about this the other day, where you have people that are like, fuck England, man. We're out of here. Like, we're going to go start a new country. I can't even, there's statistically, you cannot measure any accomplishment I've ever had. All my accomplishments combined, you statistically couldn't measure next to guys that are like, fuck this, we're out. And to set up an entire country.
Well, the Dutch were here first.
As slow as it. Dutch came first?
The Dutch were here first. Yeah.
And what did they set up? Oh, they were dickheads, though, right?
No, they were just farms and shit like that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
But was the country organized at that point?
No, it was just like
settlements.
Settlements here.
That's just survive. I mean, yeah. You got to tip your hat to those guys who the conditions are deplorable. There's like what you're even building on your best case scenario still is a fucking shithole.
Yeah, you're getting attacked by fucking Indians left and right.
Yeah, you're like India's laughing at the shithole that the fucking pilgrims built, and it's just, but yet it's amazing. Just not what's it called when you just that ingenuity or that drive or that
the ambition, to come and do it. Well, they said a lot of it, like you're always taught in school, like, oh, they wanted freedom from religious persecution, when really a lot of it was like they thought that there was gold, like a lot of gold over here, so they would just come and just start digging random holes in the ground looking for gold, and then eventually resorted to cannibalism because they were so hungry. But for a country that's relatively young with no real culture, to start back then and within a relatively short amount of time come up with something like a hydrogen bomb, which is like 100 fucking regular nuclear bombs. It's fucking insane.
Well, I mean, like I was saying, look at the advances. Like, do you suspect there, since it's overkill, do you put every single advancement that we've come up with as a people? It's all our doing?
Well, I do, because there's a trackable path to each technology. You would have to say that initial germ was given to us by little green men. But like, if you follow the path of technology, everything makes sense built on top of each other. You know what I mean? Like, there's no surprises.
And you think about like
you would say that. I mean, I can't imagine though that you could track it on the internet.
In hindsight, if you look at the timeline, everything makes sense. I don't think I certainly could.
There's nothing that's just popped up out of nowhere that someone's been like,
maybe Velcro. but no, I don't.
There's nothing that like makes people go like, well, don't they like with a passion guard their discoveries with so that you can't mimic it. So how would we track it then? You know what I'm saying?
Well, what do you think?
Like copyrights and That's
You're talking about, like, say, Apple? Like somebody
so,
like them?
technology is.
Well, a lot of this shit.
It's not an open book technology.
No, but a lot of it can be reverse engineered pretty easily. And a lot of shit in America came from NASA, and NASA cannot, by law, copyright or they don't own anything. They can't patent anything. So anything that they develop is instantly public domain. So
anybody can do it.
Well, I don't know if anybody can do it, but anybody can have the information.
Manufacture it if they can, have the information and do with it what they will.
That's right.
So I could take so I can start my own. I can build a rocket and fly it.
Sure, that's what Elon Musk is doing.
Well, no, you're right. You can't.
You can.
But if you have enough money, like, or what's his name?
If I had enough money, there's no way I would still be allowed to, like,
sure, that's what Elon Musk is doing. That's what he's doing.
And Jeff Bezos.
The guy who founded Tesla is doing that. He just made the rocket that could come back down and land.
There's no way. You would have to go through so many. They would hoop you to death with the hoops you'd have to jump through.
These guys have the money. Jeff Bezos from Amazon, same thing. He invented, like, space flights, or no, not invented, but he's
commercial space flights.
Commercial space flights, so you can fucking fly around in space and shit.
That exists?
No, it's in the testing phase, but I mean, if you're in the testing phase,
they think it's legitimately viable that it can happen.
Mm-hmm.
That will make traveling around the world super fast because you go up high enough and then the distance you have to go is so much shorter and then you just come down. So.
Oh, so they would use it as a means of travel?
It would be commercial. Yeah. You can go to Australia in like 2 hours.
But you would need a space station to have it land, right? Or you'll just land like they did in the ocean and a raft comes out.
No. It's basically a plane that can go into the above the atmosphere.
Just breaks the atmosphere.
Right, goes above and then comes down. So,
does that make sense? That just because the higher you are, the shorter distance you have to go?
Sure.
Why?
I think because of the way the world
because it's a
atmosphere is shaped. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's like a record, right? It's spinning,
mm-hmm.
and the interior of the record.
So you're up there long enough
has such a small distance to go.
The point A to point B is shorter.
Has a much bigger distance to go, but they both do it in the same amount of time. It's the same sort of fucking theory.
I look at shit like social media stars on YouTube or whatever, and it fucking enrages me. I'm just like, this is the fucking stupidest shit ever. Think about somebody who was born in, say, even 1930, to see all the different changes that have come, and not all great. You know, like I saw a commercial with what's his name, Dax Shepard and Kristen Bell.
Oh, with the
refrigerator.
Mm-hmm.
I want to fucking kick a hole in my TV.
Why?
Because I'm like, do we really need to fucking have an app that it's like, oh, now I can look inside my refrigerator and see what shit I need?
No,
we don't, right?
No.
And plus, I hate their perky. Like, we're so in love. Like,
you look
too.
at it the wrong way. I look at them and I'm like, good for them. I wonder how much I got paid for this.
Now, you know what I do like about them, though? They sort of spearheaded that whole, like, don't take pictures of our kids thing.
Oh, really?
Because I think people who want to see pictures of celebrities' kids are the fucking dimmest, most idiotic fucks to populate this planet.
It's very weird, right?
It's like people that get so excited, they're like, oh, fucking Kate had a baby. And everybody gets fucking wet or hard over it.
Were you talking about royalty? I think royalty is different.
Well, that's
American
Prince.
royalty,
that's
right?
A Prince baby.
Right, but American royalty is really the children of celebrities.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's just a phrase that's been coined. They're not really royalty, though.
They're not. No, I know. They're not kings and queens. Dukes or barons.
Yeah. Jolie every week.
Yeah, they're like, off with his head. He made fun of our commercial. But I mean, people really fucking get hard-ons over it. Like when Princess Di, when she died, and everybody was so fucking up in arms about it because paparazzi was chasing her. I'm like, but this wouldn't be a thing unless people had such a rabid interest in Princess Di and Dodi Fayed. Like, who the fuck cares? I can't. Well, I can't imagine caring.
There's a line crossed, though. I mean, there's a line that the public will accept from their paparazzi, which is you stand on a street, and if you happen to catch a photograph, you know, all right, I'll buy it in the newspaper. But if you fucking actively speed after a car in excess of 90 miles per hour, thus, you know, making it a very...
But that driver didn't have to go 90 miles an hour. They could have been like, whoa, slow down. Like,
well,
at worst,
but the paparazzi didn't also have to step on the gas and keep up with them either.
They didn't, and I mean, I guess there aren't laws against that, and I don't understand...
speed laws.
Yeah,
Weren't they on that German highway, the Autobahn?
They were in France, weren't they? I think they were in a tunnel in France.
I remember it as on the Autobahn.
Let's
right
the
again.
Mandela effect.
Zoom. Or no? Are you still looking up something?
Go ahead. That's all right.
Wake up in the morning, 8 hours of work. Smell like horse shit. The boss is a jerk. He won't let me dance or do karate moves. I got a 148 IQ. It's my Friday, so I'm heading out. Drink 12 beers to numb my gout. Order up some disgusting fried food. I wish my mom would go back to dudes. Whoa, 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 it's okay. I wouldn't have it any other way. 'Cause me and Walt, we're best friends, and that's never gonna end. Come the weekend, I'm hitting the fleet. Walk 5 hours flashing LED. I catch a lot of stares, hunters looking my way. If I only knew what to say, I could ask one out to the bottle dump. Light a candle with a Zippo as we snuggle on a stump. She could hold my machete when the cops come by and tell them I'm a normal guy. Whoa, 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 it's okay. I wouldn't have it any other way. 'Cause me and Walt, we're best friends, and that's never gonna end. Got a pickup truck in an Apple IIc. I'm the baddest motherfucker, South Central Jersey. Sun's out, guns out, that's how I live my life. I shave my shoulders with a Bowie knife. Whoa, 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 it's okay. I wouldn't have it any other way. 'Cause me and Walt, we're best friends, and that's never gonna end. The truth is I spend my nights alone, soaking my partial, staring at my phone. I ditched the cameras when I sold the site, and I still don't feel right. A night light bomber, then it's off to bed. Visions of Judge Judy dance in my head. Blind boys and pool toys made my life hell, but at least I'm not Maxwell. Whoa, 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 it's okay. I wouldn't have it any other way. 'Cause me and Walt, we're best friends, and that's never gonna end. It's never gonna end. We're best friends. Fuck you and Bride. They know why. Whoa, 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 it's okay. I wouldn't have it any other way. 'Cause me and Walt, we're best friends, and that's never gonna end.
This has been a production of Smodco Internet Radio. Sir, only at smodcast.com.